Today, Operation Antispruik around Wollongong. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics, where I've noticed posts covering finance and property news with a distinctively Australian flavour. Well, Cookie Boy's been at it again, and he's thrown me a whole load of new price reductions, and today we're going to focus on those around the Wollongong area. And I've also been able to update my models to the end of October, so this is hot off the press data as well with regards to mortgage stress. As normal, I'm going to go through the specific examples from the property portals where prices have dropped, and also cross-correlate that with the stress data and my other models so that we can see how things are going along. And so we're going to start in postcode 2500, which is in and around Wollongong. And this includes Mangaton. This is a house on 1,483 square metres, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car. It was listed 50 days ago on the 9th of September. And on the 16th of September, it was on at $1.25 million. Now on the 17th of October, it's on at $1.1 million. And looking at postcode 2500, which includes Wollongong South and several suburbs in and around Wollongong. And according to the latest data, there's around 19,000 households in the postcode, with 26% owning their properties outright, 24% are borrowing, and 48% are renting. At the moment, about 27% of those borrowing are in mortgage stress. That's about 1,200 households. And around 56% of those renting, or 5,200 households, are in rental stress. And we've also got some investor stress there too. Just to be clear, when we talk about stress here, we're talking about cash flow, money in, money out. And this means that households are having to make tough decisions about what they spend their cash on. And that includes whether they make the mortgage and rental repayments and their other outgoings as well. If they've got more money going out than coming in, we classify them as stressed. In terms of price scenarios, we've got 3, the best, the base and the worst. The best case assumes that interest rates come back a little bit through the course of next year and inflation dies. The base case assumes that interest rates continue to rise, the RBA continues to lift. We get recession in some of the northern hemisphere areas, including the US and Europe, but not in Australia. The worst case is that we have a recession here in Australia, rates rise, but then have to come back later on. So in the best case scenario, over the next 3 years, we see a cumulative drop of about 4.8% for property prices for houses in the area. The base case, a drop of 29.3% over the next 3 years, and the worst case, a fall of 47% over the next 3 years. Now looking at the property profiles, about 35% of properties here are houses, 52% are units, and 11% are other types of property, including over commercial premises like shops. The people ratio is 2, and on census night last year, 9.8% of properties were vacant. That's 1,900 properties were vacant on census night. Looking at the investment scenarios, the gross investment yield on average in the area is 3.4%. The net investment yield is only very slightly positive at 0.1%. And the ATO reports that the average taxable income is around $79,000 per annum, whereas the census per household reported taxable income of about $84,000. Now looking at disposable income, the typical disposable monthly income in this postcode is around $5,500 a month. And typically a mortgage holder could be paying as much as 44.2% of their disposable income on the mortgage, more than $2,400 per month. And a typical renter is paying around 35% of their disposable income on the rent at just under $2,000 a month. Now we'll look at another property in the same area. This again is in postcode 2500, though a different suburb. And this was a property, it's a house on 524 squares with 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and 2 cars. Now this property has an interesting history. 52 days ago, it was passed in an auction. Then it was on at $1.1 million. And 31 days ago, it had a price guide of 1.1. Then it had a drop to 1.07 million 21 days ago. And 3 days ago, it was reduced to $999,000. Now we're going to postcode 2519. And this is in the same area as Fairy Meadow, so just north of Wollongong. And this is a house on 600 squares. It's got 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car, listed 24 days ago on the 5th of October. And then it was on at 930,000. Now on the 21st of October, it's reduced to 890,000. And if we look at the details of this particular postcode, around 7,000 households in the area, 37% own outright, 30% are borrowing, and 31% are renting. There are around 30% of those with a mortgage and mortgage stress. That's 643 households roughly. 58% of those paying rent, 1,290 are in rental stress. And there's a little bit of pressure on investors as well. Looking at our scenarios, the best case scenario is a fall of about 3% cumulative over the next 3 years. In fact, a bit of a drop and a bit of a recovery. The base case is a fall of 28% over the next 3 years. The worst case, a fall of 45%. Looking at the property profiles, 68% of the properties are houses at 4,500, 11% are units, and 19% are other types, including over commercial properties and shops. The people ratio is 2.37. 5.1% of properties were vacant on census night. That's 353. Typical gross investment yield is 3.4%. The net investment yield typically is around 0.1%, so just positive. The average taxable income in this postcode, according to the ATO, is $83,700 per annum. And the household census report is an average household income of $87,600 per annum. Monthly disposable income is around $5,500, and the typical mortgage holder is now paying about 48% of their disposable income, or $2,600 on the mortgage. Average renters paying around 35.7% of their income, just under $2,000 per month. Now we're going to Fig Tree 2525. This was listed 15 days ago with a gross rental yield of 4.46%. It's a house on 583 squares with 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom and 1 car space. On the 14th of October, it was on $800,000. Now on the 25th of October, dropped to $760,000. And looking at the data in this area, there's around 4,500 households with 38% owning it outright, 43% are borrowing and 18% are renting. The mortgage stress rate is quite high at 59%, which is over 1,180. The rental stress is extremely high, and investors overall are also in some difficulty, so the household financial stress metric is quite high. Best case scenario is a fall of about 12% over the next 3 years. The base case, a fall of 36%. The worst case, a fall of 55%. And 82% of properties in this postcode are houses, 4.2% are units, and 13.4% are other types. People ratio is 2.67, and just 3.3 or 147 properties were free on census night. And the gross investment yield on average is 3.4%, so this one is a bit above average, but the net investment yield is often negative, just slightly. The average taxable income, according to the ATO, is $84,800. And the average household census income is $106,000 per annum. Monthly disposable income is around $6,300 per month. Of those borrowing, around 42% of disposable income is going on the mortgage at $2,600, and 33% are going on the average rental at just over $2,100. Now we'll go to 2526, Farnborough Heights. And this was listed 103 days ago on the 18th of July. It's a house on 654 squares, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 cars. And on the 7th of August, it was on at $1.25 million. Now on the 21st of October, it's a guide at $1 million. And this particular postcode is just south of Wollongong. It includes places like Kembla Grange and Mount Kembla. And there's around 6,000 households there. 32% are owning outright, 43.5% are borrowing, and 24.3% are renting. Mortgage stress is at 40.6% at just over 1,000 households. The rental stress about 52% at 783. And there's a little bit of rental stress and a little bit of investor stress as well. So the scenarios are a best case of 4% over the next 3 years, down. The base case a fall of 28% over the next 3 years, or worst case of 47% over the next 3 years. 88.6% of properties are houses in the postcode, 4.6% are units, and 6.8% are other types of property. The people ratio is 2.63%, and on census night, just 3.6% or 217 properties were vacant. From an investment perspective, 3.4% is the gross investment yield on average in the postcode. The net investment yield is slightly positive at 0.2%. The average taxable income, according to the ATO, is $81,600, and the average household census is $106,000 per annum. Looking at the disposable monthly income, it's around $6,500 per month. And the average mortgage is around 39.7% of that disposable income, or $2,600. The average rent's at 28.2%, $1,800 per month. Now we'll go to 2528 Mount Warrigal, and this was listed 67 days ago on the 23rd of August. It's a house on 562 squares, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car. On the 23rd of August, it was at $795,000. Now on the 25th of October, $760,000. And this property, which includes Lake Illawarra, so it's again further south from Wollongong, around 10,000 households, 37% own outright, 27.9% are borrowing, and 34% are renting. Around 40% of mortgage holders are in mortgage stress, at just over 1,000, and 70% of those paying rent are in rental stress. The overall financial stress in the postcode is around 47.6%, which is quite high. Scenario is about 7.8% fall over the next 3 years, best case scenario, 32.1% fall base case, and 50.9% worst case. 78% of properties are houses in the postcode, 8.3% are units, and 13.6% are other types of property. The people ratio is 2.2, and 6.6 or 664 properties were vacant last year. Gross investment yield is about 3.3%. The net investment yield is just positive at 0.2%. The average taxable income is around $68,800 according to the ATO. The average household census reported $60,600 per annum. The average disposable monthly income is around $4,000, and 54% of that, or $2,200 on average, is going to pay the mortgage, or 42.6% is going to pay the average rent. Now here's another property in the same postcode, slightly different suburb, and this has a price guide of $679,000 now. It's a house on 740 squares, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 2 cars. It was on 104 days ago at $749,000. Then it was price range $699,000 to $749,000. 42 days ago, it was on at $699,000. 22 days, it was on at $679,000. Here's another one in the same area. This is listed 110 days ago on the 11th of July. It's a house on 587 square metres, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 cars, with a gross rental yield of 4.46%. On the 12th of August, it was on at $725,000. On the 21st of October, it was reduced to $680,000. Now we're going to 2529 Oak Flats. This was listed 135 days ago on the 16th of June. It's a house on 743 squares, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car, with a gross rental yield of 3.56%. On the 14th of July, it was on at $899,000. On the 5th of October, $850,000. And looking at the details in this postcode, around 11,000 households with 34% owning outright, 40% are borrowing, and 25% are renting. The mortgage stress is 44.4%, or 1,900 households in mortgage stress, and 53.8%, or 1,500 renters in rental stress. Overall household and financial stress at 36.5%. From a scenario perspective, the best case scenario is a fall of about 4% over the next 3 years. The base case a fall of 28%, the worst case a fall of 47%. 77% of properties are houses, 4.9% are units, 18% are other types, including commercial properties and over shops. People ratio is 2.58, and the vacancy rate was 4.7%, or 509 properties last year. The average gross investment yield is about 3.4%. The net investment yield is 0. So some people will be underwater in this postcode. Average taxable income, according to the ATO, is $79,000 per annum. The census reported the average household income was around $97,000. Disposable monthly income is around $6,000, with 42.8% going on the mortgage, around $2,600. And the average rent at 38.6% is $2,300 per month. Now we'll go to 2530 Dapto. This was listed 59 days ago on the 31st of August. It's a house with 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, no cars. And on the 6th of September, it was on at $990,000. Now on the 11th of October, $900,000. And looking at 2530, you can see that there's around 13,000 households in the area, 31.9% own outright, 45% are borrowing, and 22.3% are renting. 47.7% of those with a mortgage are in mortgage stress, that's 2,900 households, and 55.2% of those renting, at 1,645, are also in rental stress. And the overall financial stress measure is 37.9%. Scenario suggests a best case fall of 4.4% over the next 3 years, a base case of 28.9%, the worst case of 47.7%. 87.9% of properties are houses, that's more than 11,000, 1.8% are units, and 10% are other types of property. People ratios 2.57 and 3.4% were vacant on census night, just over 440 properties. Gross investment yields around 3.4% on average, and the net investment yield is only marginally positive at 0.1%. Average taxable income, according to the ATO, is $73,800 per annum, and the average household income is $85,900 according to the census. Monthly disposable income is around $5,200 per month, and the typical mortgage, around $2,400, requires about 45.4% of the average disposable monthly income. For the rent, around $2,000 per month, or 38.7% of the average monthly disposable income. So there you have a quick trot around Wollongong, and of course you can see once again the same old trends, which are that property prices are continuing to slide, and it is interesting to notice just how pressurised households are here. Large proportion of their disposable income on average are going on either the mortgage or the rent. That of course is a function not only of the higher interest rates, the fact that the rents are rising, but also the higher pressure coming through from high inflation. Inflation, of course, is very high, and in fact the most recent data showed that the non-discretionary inflation is now at 8.4%, which is horrendously high. So thanks again to Cookie for pulling the information out. We'll do some more. If you've got particular postcodes you'd like us to look at, put them in the comments below. Don't promise we'll get to them, but we'll certainly try. We have a long list at the moment. I've got plenty more shows to make in this series, so watch out for the next one. And if you would like to have a conversation about a particular suburb, then you might want to consider my one-to-one service, where I can go into a lot more detail than I can here and discuss all of the issues that are going on in that particular area. You can contact me by the DFA blog. The links are in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will look forward to chatting with you again on the next show. This is Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. I'll see you next time.